Hello, everybody. I am Miranda Michaelis, and I just came from the dentist office. Does my teeth look any whiter? Eh. Anyway, I found the most dishonest person on Twitter because this person he says things like when have you stopped beating your wife? When have you stopped killing people? It's all accusing me of things that I've never done. It's like accusing me of things that I never done, like stop beating your wife. And it's like guilt by association that just by talking to David Sherratt and just by talking to, be willing to talk to him, I am somehow guilty of things that he's allegedly done, and I supposedly have a double standard. It's all guilt by association, because he doesn't care that, I've defended different types of people. I've defended Christiosity. I've defended Sargon of Akkad. Like, each time Sargon had his Twitter accounts taken down, I made videos coming to his defense. I've came to Bering's defense when he got his Twitter taken down or whatever. I've came to, Hunter Avalon's defense when he received a lot of hate. I've defended so many people, but yet he wanted to paint a picture of me that I'm a progressive or a radical feminist. He's all about scoring political points because, I must have like 221 videos. 221 videos, and at no point have I ever claimed to be a feminist. I've never claimed to be a progressive. I've voted for Donald Trump, actually. So it's like if I'm a feminist, I make a really bad feminist. I've defended Bering, Sargon. Yet I am supposed to be held accountable for things that I didn't even do. It's different to go like, Rand, you did this, you did that, and I'm like, okay, fair enough, I did do this. But he wants to keep me responsible for things I didn't do. Now, I'm not sure whether or not this is a troll account. It could be just a troll account where he tries to irritate and annoy everybody. And I'm probably not the only one. He probably went to somebody else and he probably falsely accused, so and so doing such and such. But if he is genuine, then he is heavily dishonest because I have been very consistent. Bering, when he got his footage taken down, you can go through my videos and see I defended Bering, Sargon, Hunter, Avalon. I've defended so many people, but as soon as I start talking to progressives and I'm nice and I'm friendly and I'm sociable, I am some sort of hypocrite, or I have some sort of double standard, or I favor one or over another. It's kind of like, how come you never criticize feminists when? Anybody who's ever watched my channel for the past 2 years would know that I actually have criticized feminists. It's up there like that. It's kind of like he has Orwellian thinking where egalitarianism is treating one person better than another. It's kind of like when people to the left say, if you treat black people and white people like equals, you're giving white people special treatments. But he's like doing the reverse with me. Like if I treat, feminists and anti-feminists like equals, I am somehow giving feminists special treatments by treating everybody like equals. Equality is inequality. So I would go through all of my tweets. I would go to my notifications and you would get to see all of my tweets so that you can see what I mean. Okay, let's begin. So let's go to what he responds to. I would just address what I've said. Where are all the free speech advocates when it comes to progressives getting their accounts shut down? Andy Worski goes on about how he cares about free speech, and then and the reporting of his friends. Soon as a progressive gets reported, nada. Because when it comes to me, I try to be very consistent. I've defended Sargon of Akkad, and I mean, if you guys need evidence, I should have it on a playlist actually. I do think I have a playlist where I've defended Sargon, but I've defended Sargon, Hunter, Avalon, Bering. Like, when Bering got his account shut down, I make sure I've can't come to his defense because I try to defend everybody evenly. I don't believe in special treatments because it's either all or no one. You can't pick and choose. I believe in applying my views evenly. So when I say where's all the free speech advocates when progressives get their accounts shut down, I'm not saying that as a progressive. I am not a progressive. I am not a feminist. If you go to my channel, I mean, you would never ever see anything feminist because again, I've voted for Donald Trump. I've, criticized the Democrats. I mean, if you look through my channel, you can see that I'm not left wing. I just believe in applying my views consistently. And believing that you should apply your views consistently is somehow picking a side. Taking no side is the exact same thing as picking a side. So if you treat everybody fairly, that is giving another group special treatments. Like if I were to give, feminists a cake and anti-feminists a cake, I am somehow giving feminists special treatments because they don't deserve a cake, even if I treat everybody equally, or if I believe that nobody should commit murder and I happen to talk to like a murderer, I'm somehow guilty of it because somebody else did it. I don't get it. I'm just asking for consistency because I'm consistent. And I don't mind proving that. And then he says, where are all the free speech advocates? They were already banned and suspended while people like you cheered it on. I've never cheered it on. And I respond, when have I cheered it on? Huh? Answer me. When have I ever cheered it on? Sargon getting his account suspended. I've actually came to his defense and made videos against it, you liar. Unlike you, I actually am consistent with my views because I am. And it's kind of like when I take something seriously, if you claim to care about the things that I care about, I would expect for you to be consistent as well. He says, feel free to show me the tweets where you lectured Spinosaurus and his ilk when they cheered when people get suspended. When really, I've only been following Spinosaurus Ken for like, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months. I haven't actually been following him all that long. And I've never seen him cheer on anybody that's gotten suspended. I mean, how am I supposed to cheer on things that I've never seen? Likewise, I mean, several feminists and progressives have me blocked. I'm blocked by Steve Shives. I'm blocked by Christy Winters. He wants to make it seem like I'm closer to them than I really am to score political points. I say most feminists got me blocked, which is true. Um, oh my fucking God, what a delusional world you live in. You find a person you don't like on Twitter and you make shit up about them. Listen, I can't lecture anything to people who've got me blocked, because how am I supposed to say anything to them if I'm blocked? Let's see. I don't really care. So here he is being angry and outraged at me. He's really outraged, you know. He just came up to me starting being nasty, rude, hostile over nothing, a bad faith argument. And he says, you know, he doesn't really care. You're joining in with that piece of shit, David, who's our number one fucking deplatformer. Finally, the pendulum is swinging, and left-wingers are feeling the S on their doors, and you have the audacity to lecture those of us enjoying karma when I am not a left winger. I am a centrist, and to be like more precise, I am centered right. You know, like, so if anything, I mean, there is more validity to me being a right winger than a left winger. You know, it's kind of like I bought multiple books by Ben Shapiro. You know, I've supported Ben Shapiro, but um, it's weird though, but because he makes it sound like I'm left wing, and I'm not sure if this guy's alt right or not. You know, because he says that David Sharrots is his number one deplatformer, though I've never seen him deplatform anybody. Let's see. Feel free. I think I've already addressed that part. Can you believe this guy here? It's not enough that I made videos each time Sargon got his Twitter suspended. I'm somehow responsible for the actions of people who've got me blocked, while he doesn't apply his logic consistently. You know, because I believe that I should be held responsible for my own actions. Because Sargon is a huge right swinger. If you think this is evidence of anything, you're sorely mistaken. Yeah, it comes from the guy who basically lied about me. He accused me of cheering people on when they get their accounts suspended. Let's see. It's evidence that I'm consistent in my views, unlike you, who only wants free speech for people he likes. Damn everybody else. One, you'll be hard pressed to find me ever calling myself a free speech advocate. And I think that this is really important because it means Um, he virtue signals because here he initiated conversation with me saying, we're all the free speech advocates. They're already banned and suspended while people like you cheered it on. I've never cheered it on. I've actually came to Sargon's defense, Bering's defense, Kraut's defense. I've defended so many people who've lost their accounts in Twitter. So, you know, he doesn't know shits about me. And then he says, you'd be hard pressed to find me ever calling myself a free speech advocate. So you're yelling at me and being hostile to me and engaging in bad faith arguments over something you don't even believe in, which means you're guilty of virtue signaling. Two, like I said, I can't tell if this is autism on your parts or something, but what most of us are doing is enjoying left-wingers who cheered others getting suspended themselves. Then why on earth did you respond to my tweets asking for consistency from free speech advocates if you're not one? You're just punishing me for political points. Let's see, he says, I love the idea that you are saying this to David as if he's not personally engaged in the platforming campaigns. I've never seen that, so why should I be mean to him over things I've never seen him do? In fact, I've seen actually the opposites, like when Christy Winters and um, it was Christy Winters and Steve Shives. They wanted to deplatform Sargon for speaking at MidCon. I actually saw David Shera saying that he doesn't agree with her tactics and that is not the correct way to go about it. So I've actually seen the opposites from him. Um, it looks like he skipped some of my replies. It doesn't look like he replied to everything that I've said. He skipped around. Um, let's see. Um, let's see. He goes, I don't care if you're joining forces with that shit Derek, who's our number one deplatformer. Finally, the pendulum swings and the left wingers get a feeling of X. And now, as to their own throats, and you have the audacity to let trust over count karma. I say guilt by association, and I'm a centrist. I'm neither a left winger or a right winger. Let's see, left winger, right winger. Not not at all. It's called hypocrisy. Not at all. It's called hypocrisy. Besides that, there are plenty of people who call themselves centrists that are really just left wingers, but don't have the courage to do so. I voted for Donald Trump, sweethearts. And this is what makes him really delusional. I'd say it would make him delusional. It says plenty of people who call themselves centrists that are really left wingers but don't have the courage to do so. If I was left wing, I would have no problem saying so because that's the type of person I am. I want to be completely honest to my audience. So if I really was left wing, I would just be like, hey, I'm left wing and deal with it. But I've actually voted for Donald Trump. I follow a lot of right wing accounts. I follow Fox News. I mean, I've retweeted Fox News unironically, and yet I am somehow a left winger who's pretending to be a centrist. That is really weird because all a centrist is a person with left-leaning views and right-leaning views. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Then why on earth did you respond to my tweets asking for consistency on free speech? If you're not one, you're sure. Da, 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 da. Okay, I already addressed that. I love the idea. Da, da, da. Let's see. I could still be consistent to my views. What other people think doesn't justify double standards. I apply my own views evenly, and again, more guilt by association. What he thinks doesn't reflect what I think. I've spoken to Sargon too, because it kind of drives in that I talked to David, who is to the left, and it's like I talked to Sargon too. There's a reason why he's pushing David so hard on me. It's kind of like it would be like no different than pushing Christiosity so hard on me. It's kind of like, well, I've talked to Sargon, I've spoken to V, I've spoken to like really adamant anti-feminist. Like what does who I talk to have to do with anything? I've supported Sargon on Patreon. I've defended Lauren Southern like a year or two ago. Yeah, he wants to push David Sherratt on me because he wants to make it look like I'm a progressive when I've never claimed it to be. Let's see. Uh, Sorry, this is taking a while. He's spoken to me a lot, so this is going to be long. Yeah, don't talk to me about punish to score points between the two of you jerking each other off on how hypocritical free speech advocates are, when really I am asking for people to be consistent in their viewpoints. Because I am consistent with my viewpoints. I try my very best to always be consistent. Consistency is what I strive for. And he is not even a free speech advocate, so he is virtue signaling. He's virtue signaling basically, because if you're not some free speech advocate, then why would you care? At least I've advocated for Sargon's free speech. I've advocated for Barron's free speech. I've actually advocated for the free speech of different people. Then why on earth did you respond to me? I don't need to be in the food safety inspector to point out that you got rot trappings in souffle. Um, so basically, he doesn't agree with free speech, but he's got to point it all out. He needs to virtue signal. He's got to virtue signal like how virtuous he is by putting me down. It's like he's not a free speech advocate, but he wants to just virtue signal, basically. And I think I've addressed it this way before. Um, no, but if he's ranting and raving and you agree with him, then I specifically criticize your idiotic views. If you're really going to rant about people cheering people getting suspended, then you really should focus on David most of all. But instead, you rather feign centrism. Do I need to show you my political compass? Here again is my political compass. It says that I am censored rights or rights of censor. Here is a different one. And do you see what it says in the bottom? It says in the bottom, centrist. Economic access, centrist. Diplomatic access, nationalist. Civic access, moderates. Societal access, neutral. I am a centrist. It says so in my 8 values results. Let's see. Um, but no, but if he's ranting and raving and you agree with him, and I'm specifically criticizing your idiotic views, if you're really going to rant about people cheering people getting suspended, then you really need to focus on David most of all. But instead, you are to feign centrism. I'm not feigning it. Pretty much each and every single political compass test that I've ever taken ever states that I'm a centrist. You need to take that up with all of the political compass tests I've taken. Um, let's see, if you're going to rant to rave about people getting suspended. So you hate feminists, you hate progressives, but yet you are cheering people getting suspended. Well, if you rant and rave against feminists because you believe that they cheer people on for getting suspended, how are you any better? It's like if somebody kills a person and then you kill a person, how are you better than the other person? If David Sherrod burns somebody's houses down and then you in turn go around and burning somebody else's houses down, how are you any better? You know, why on earth should I take a person's advice who is admittedly inconsistent in their viewpoints? Um, let's see. And you're not really criticizing my views. You are criticizing me for not being tribalistic. Me, I say up here, you're not even a free speech advocate. I've advocated for Sargon's freedom of speech each and every time he got deplatformed. Sure, and I think he's been sarcastic, but I could prove it. Okay, so Bearing Operation Shiny Objects. Here I've defended Bearing. Here I criticized Christy Winters. Here I think I was mostly neutral. Um, Here I shared Bearing's video. You won't believe why Bearing Twitter's account was suspended. So here I shared Bearing's video. That's the video of me defending Bearing. Let's see. Here I criticized SJWs. SJW thinks murder and words are equal. Here I've defended Blair White. Here I've criticized feminists. Here, Sargon's suspension on Twitter. This is where I came to Sargon's defense. Here I criticized both groups. I criticized anti-feminists too. Here I covered Sargon and the Vidcon situation. I did a part 1 and a part 2. Here I've advocated for free speech, where I talked about how the slants to the Redskins, that event was a huge win for free speech. Um, I've um, I've criticized the Democrats when I did a whole response to Hunt's Republicans. I've defended Republicans twice there. I've interviewed the wizard Magog. I've criticized Kathy Griffin when she showed a severed head of Donald Trump. Here in this video, Trump supporters are violent. I've defended Trump supporters against Antifa. He told me to criticize David Sharats when I've actually criticized David Sharats in the past. 1 year ago, I made a video called The Curious Case of Spinosaurus Scan. And then I made a video, Spino versus Sargon, where I actually took Sargon's side. Let's see, Sargon versus Switzer. This is where I've defended Sargon and brought attention to him getting suspended on Twitter. I made a video called Sargon of Akkad suspended on Twitter because, again, I've defended him. Here you can see me criticizing SJW origins theory. I talked about Hunter Avalon getting hacked. And here I've interviewed multiple anti-feminists. I mean, pretty much some names you can recognize, like Skeptor and Bass FCZ, Cognitive Dogs, That Guy T, Charming Man. I've interviewed many different anti-feminists. Yet he wants to paint a picture that I am some sort of crazy left-leaning feminist. So it's kind of like, here I am, I'm saying the truth. I've advocated for Sargon's freedom of speech each time he got deplatformed from Twitter. I've actually proved that to you. It's not all that hard, but he gives like a sure you have. And he goes, are we pulling a Kathy Newman? This started because you jumped to score political points with that scumbag David. How was I trying to score political points? I don't see how I was trying to do that. Is commenting on politics, I mean, to me, quote tweeting people is trying to score political points. You're quote tweeting me because you want your audience to see. Me, I replied to David, so therefore only his hardcore fans would see. You know, people who follow me on Twitter, they would not even see what I say unless they go to tweets and replies, or if, I just don't get how I was trying to score political points. You just hates David a lot. Let's see, I've defended multiple people's freedom of speech despite their political leanings. I've been very consistent. You just want to hold me accountable for somebody else's views? Actually, I want you to be consistent in lecturing people for cheering other people's getting banned. When really, I just showed you that I have criticized the left. Like, I just showed you my playlist of videos where I actually have criticized the left. Um, Actually, I want you to be consistent in lecturing people for cheering other people getting banned. For some reason, you're not lecturing Spinosaurus Skin, who's a major fucking transgressor. Until that time, you don't have any sorts of more high ground. You are just a selective little shit. Even though, even though, I've never seen Spinosaurus Scan cheer people on for getting banned. I'm not saying he's never done that. I'm just saying that I've never seen him do it. Why should I condemn Spinosaurus Scan for doing something that I didn't see him do? You know, he it's like it's kind of like if Christy Winters accused Sargon of Akkad of being a mass murderer. It's kind of like, why should I condemn Sargon for something I didn't see him do? You want me to criticize David Sherratt for something that I didn't even see him do. And it's just he just lives in this fantasy world, basically. He lives in a fantasy world, because I have criticized feminists multiple times, but yet, I mean, he just acts like I haven't. You know, he acts like I've never criticized feminists before. He acts like, when feminists do something, I just sit back and I'm like, yay! But when anti-feminists do something, I'm like, grr. When really I've criticized both sides pretty consistency. Um, if you want to see that one, I'll be happy. Do you want to see it? So you could pause that if you want. Am I scoring political points when I talk to Christians, atheists, Satanists, paganists? Discussing my views equals scoring political points? WTF? Well, the issue here is he's bitching about the plan for me, and but this doesn't make any sense. Will the issue here is he's bitching about the plan for me, and then you join in as if he's not the major deplatform it. I never seen him deplatform anybody who, I mean, I've never seen him do it. So you want me to condemn him for things I never seen him do, which to me is virtue signaling. To me, I would be virtue signaling if I condemned people for things that I didn't see them do. Um, if you don't see the hypocrisy here, I can't step you, hon. Maybe you should make a video about it. And this is why you have this. I will. Maybe I should. You're holding me responsible for somebody else's views. Check. I'm not David Sherratt. And whatever your issue is with David Sherratt, you've got to take it up with him, not me. You're following 2K people such as Braving Ruin, AG Sphinx, and he's following a lot of alt-rights accounts. Maybe you should be responsible for their views. You think I should lecture people who have me blocked? Chad, Steve Shives, he has me blocked. Christy Winters, she has me blocked. And And me applying my views evenly to everybody is picking a side, which is the most hilarious thing about it. Equality is discrimination. I mean, he does think like the people he criticized. I mean, I'm pretty sure that if ContraPoints were to say if black people and white people were to be treated like equals, that you're giving white people like special treatments, he would criticize that. But if I believe that feminists and anti-feminists should be treated as equals when it comes to freedom of speech, that is me favoring feminists over anti-feminists. No, I'm holding you responsible for sitting there and jerking off to the major deplatforming asshole when he's the first thing you should when the first thing you should have said to him was, "Who the fuck are you to talk?" Because I've never seen him deplatform anybody. I've never ever once seen him deplatform a single person, and in fact, I've seen him do the direct opposites of that. So that would be virtue signaling. It would be virtue signaling and even lying if I accused him of doing things that I do not know him to do. Here I say, I've never seen him deplatform anybody. Do you have any evidence he has? Why should I merely take your word for it? You seem really unstable with all the guilt by association, fallacies, and straw man. The, f- the feeling when somebody accuses you of logical fallacies while they ad hominem you, when really I am not David Sherrod's babysitter. I'm not his babysitter. I am not in control over him. And I've spoken to several people. Like using Twitter, I must have I must have spoken to a million people on Twitter. Am I responsible for everybody else's actions? I've spoken to Sargon. Should I be criticized for whatever he does? I've spoken to Stick Sextonhammer. Should I be criticized for his actions too? I've spoken to Based Mama. I've spoken to, you know, 1,000, maybe 1 million different people over the internet. I mean, as long as I've used the internet, I've probably spoken to, like, I don't know, maybe 1 million people. Am I responsible for the actions of each and every single last different person that I've ever spoken to? This is insane. This is complete insanity. Doo-doo-doo. And judging, okay, I'll try to fill in the gaps. But yeah, I don't think he actually addressed all of my points. I do recall him, I do recall him skipping some of my replies to him. I don't think he wanted people to see each and every one of my replies to him. Let's see. Let's see. The feeling when someone accuses you of logical fallacies while they ad hominem you. You are guilty of a load of fallacies, especially guilt by association. You started talking to me demanding that I take responsibility for other people's actions. You keep holding me responsible for things I didn't do. You even went so far as to tell me what to say. And he did try to tell me what to say. Like, who are you to talk? Let's see. Here he says, the thing I should have told him was, who the fuck are you to talk? He went so far as to tell me what to say to people, which is an Orwellian 1984 nightmare. So yeah, you even went so far as to tell me what to say. Then I say, in judging from your responses, it looks like you don't have any evidence. Nice deflection, but belief without evidence is the delusion. Why should I take your word for something? You seem unhinged. And yet he just contests me out of nowhere with these bad faith arguments. And look, another statement on my mental health. Well, you do seem rather deranged to me. I mean, it's like a witch hunt. It's like a witch hunt or an interrogation. Like, when did you stop beating your wife? When did you stop going on a killing spree? I've never done those things. Like like I said, you're big fat hypocrites. I've never accused you of doing things you've never did. The moment I start accusing you of doing things you've never did, then you could call me a hypocrite. But until I accuse you of doing things that you've never did, you are in no position to call me a hypocrite because I don't see how I've been hypocritical in any way. Fairness is hypocrisy. And yeah, so when we clear, yes, so when we cheer this guy getting suspended, I hope you appreciate why. You guys can go back to pretending that you're not left-wing shills. So I voted for Donald Trump. So each and every single last person who voted for Donald Trump is a left-wing shield. That's nice. Each and every single last person who voted for Donald Trump is a left-wing shill. You guys can go back to pretending that you're not left-wing shills. And let's see. So when you cheer on this guy, so when we cheer on this guy getting suspended, I hope you appreciate why. Nick Monroe. I have no idea who Nick Monroe is. What's He is like a schizophrenic. I think this guy suffers from schizophrenia. I have no idea who Nick Monroe is. I never even heard of him. And I'm not even left wing. Let's see. I'm glad he was suspended. So both the left wing, the far left, cheer on when people get suspended, but the far right um, cheer on when people get suspended. It's kind of like Stalin versus Hitler. I'm glad he was suspended for the clear violation of Twitter rules. Da da da. If he hadn't been trying to organize reports and harassment campaigns against other users, I wouldn't have agreed with his suspension, despite me disagreeing with his viewpoints. When two sides celebrate the suspension of other people, then two sides are equally as bad as the other. He's a pile of shit, but what I think is hilarious is all these left-wing shills, left-wing cunts that gladly ban and mass report right-wingers crying about it like there's some sorts of hypocrisy there. I call it karma, and I call it hypocrisy. And I'm not even left-wing, I'm a centrist. To be more precise, I am centered right, and I did vote for Donald Trump, so it's weird for him to call me a left-wing shill. And this is what I mean by he's delusional. He lives in a fantasy world. He got something in his head, which is a fantasy, and he thinks, well, I think it's true, so it must be true. If I think you are a left-wing shill, you must be true because I think it's true, which makes him delusional. Belief without evidence is a delusion. If you believe something with no evidence that that is the case, then you're delusional. I am not left wing. I mean, hell. I mean, like, if you look at in yellow, I have Brainwashed by Ben Shapiro. I have, let's see, I have Bullies by Ben Shapiro. I have How to Debates Leftists by Ben Shapiro. With those books that I bought from Ben Shapiro and having support Ben Shapiro multiple times in the past, he still is going to call me a left winger because I'm consistent when it comes to my views. being consistent, treating everybody evenly, believing that I believe that feminists and anti-feminists and whatnot should be treated like equals. That makes me a left winger. Let's see. He says the person talking to him says, even powerful shits deserve a voice. He wants beyond that though. Then he casting shades at me, casting a shade at me. I agree. I'm just enjoying the hypocrisy here and all the people who gladly engage the dog piles themselves crying about it when it happens to them. When again, I don't know many of them. All I know is some of the bigger names that I've heard. I know who David Sharats is. I've know the bigger names, but I don't know many of them. I mean, so you're criticizing me and condemning me for people that I don't even know. Let's see, I said, you have to prove shit. The only thing you've proven is that you're on an Orwellian nightmare. I'm nobody's babysitter. You're incredibly authoritarian. Me responsible for people's actions. Uh, OMFG, not to mention you telling me what to say. And yet you still come out with these dishonest, whiny little tweets when somebody you don't like does it. You didn't have to say anything, but you chose to. Your selective outrage is more telling than anything else. How have I been selective? I've defended Bering. I've defended Sargon. I've defended Hunter Avalon. I've proven all of that. And if you don't believe me, you could ask Hunter Avalon himself. Ask Hunter Avalon because, I mean, let me just show you this. It's a good thing that I don't delete tweets or anything because, like I said to you, do you see this right here? Hunter Avalon and I have spoken back and forth with each other multiple times. Do you know why me and Hunter was doing all that talking to each other? Because, when he's in trouble, I've had his back. That's why. So it's kind of like this. This is a complete lie. A complete falsehood. Your selective outrage is more telling than anything else. How have I been engaging in selective outrage? By being completely equal. And this is why I mean he's an Orwellian nightmare. Equality is special treatments. It's like if I give an anti-feminist $1, and if I give a feminist $1, then oh my goodness, I give a feminist $1. So I've given feminists special treatments. And the reason why I give them special treatments is because they don't deserve $1. He just lives in this weird, weird fantasy world where I've engaged in selective outrage when I've defended the anti-feminist community so many times. And I say, great, more straight up lies and delusions about me. Doesn't know any of my political viewpoints, but acts like I'm to the far left and accuses me of doing things I didn't do. I never said far left. That's a lie right there. How have I been lying? You guys saw all of the tweets, of what he's trying to how he's trying to portray me. Like how he tries to portray me as somebody who, praises and rejoices each time an anti-feminist gets their account suspended. You could see him, you saw him, accusing me of, celebrating each time an anti-feminist got their account suspended when that wasn't the case. I never said far left. That's a lie right there. No, it isn't, because that's how you've been trying to portray me. It's not a lie if you try to portray me like that. Good luck, you irrational, silly twat. You so worked up by me that she won't shut the fuck up about shuts up, but has the audacity to say that I'm unstable. Well, you are. You've initiated the contact to me, and you could stop replying at any time. You could really stop replying, you know. It's kind of like if, you talk to me and I respond, then that's the same as me refusing to shut up when really you're engaging in libel. Like if you were speaking, it would be slanderous. You are lying about me. And I said, you contacted me. You're the one who initiated a conversation with me with nothing but straw man's ad hominems and guilt by association. It's like I said, very hypocritical to you to whine about logical fallacies when you've insulted me multiple times about my stability. Well, you do come across as mentally unstable. Let's be honest here. I see now that you aren't that bright, and all you can do is throw whatever would stick on the wall and hope it would work. Ugh, whatever. Well, it is unstable to contact a perfect stranger, condemning them for things that they haven't ever done. When did you stop beating your wife? Sarcasm. That's how you sound like to me. That's literally what she did to me, and this is where it goes to a complete circle, because let me just go back and to the top. Wrong. Here is you initiating contact with me over things I've never done. At no point did I ever cheer on anybody's suspension, yet you falsely accused me of that to score political points. And that's where things went complete circle to where he initiated the conversation. But he just wants to act like I've spoken to him so much. Let me refresh the page, because like this guy, he's just been coming across as very unhinged, because he just goes and he just it's just one lie after the next. And again, the moment I accused you of something you didn't do, that's when you are in a position to talk. The moment I'm like, oh yeah, he beats his wife. Uh-huh. When did you stop being your wife? Uh-huh. Why did you cuss your mother out? Then you are in a position to talk. But instead, you've been strawmanning me. You've been accusing me of being a left wing shield. And it's like, how have I been a left wing shield? How have I been a left wing shield? By having a conversation with him. And I would talk to pretty much anybody. I mean, does that make me a Christian shield? Does that make me an atheist shield? Does that make me, I mean, I am willing to talk to anybody, and I'm willing to talk to pretty much everybody. But talking to everybody is me shilling for one group. So I guess if I talk to Christians, then I'm shilling for Christianity, and I'm a Christian shill. But if I talk to atheists, then I'm shilling for atheists, and I'm an atheist shill. And why would you spend your time talking to a shill? I mean, this is nuts. I mean, this guy is a total, complete nuts case. Let's see. Well, this guy, this is the first time he's spoken to me. It was the other guy clogging up my notifications with his delusions towards me. Well, whatever. But this guy has got to be the most insane person I've ever come across. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this really long video. Adios, muchachos.